A few growing pains with new people joining the roster, but we can play comps like this because we just are that good.
I think what we're seeing right now with the level 1 deploys could be an experience difference because Bliss know that their bot lane is the most important thing in this game. It's really important that they get the control around bot lane, whether that's they play for a lane invade onto the red buff, they play for a 3v3, or they get lane control with vision, It's really important that this bot lane is able to play the game, whereas Ion, is going for a fan, so I feel like Bliss is going to run into the jungle here, set up with wards, and just, take away this red buff, split the map, and it's going to be very hard for Ion to, re-enter this if they want a 5v5 or even, walk to lane.
Let's see what their response is. Obviously, Styx has to show a great deal of respect and just instantly runs out of lane, but they will spot the 5-man stack of Bliss rotating past that chicken camp. They're going to clear it out. Zombie Ward replaces it, so they'll have their eyes in the skies as to knowing what Ion's next move would be. But will they themselves elect for a red buff trade? Because as it stands, Team Bliss are coming back to answer.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Bliss want to go for the invade and split the map. They want to make sure that Collie is tracked, and they want to allow Kevin to be able to invade because they have priority in so many lanes. Something also to note what they did level 1 there is they allowed Harry to get dual experience on the ward, which means he will level up to 2 on the first wave, and we'll see how long this level 1 fight goes for and if he's able to impact it.
Let's see if he can actually get himself amongst it, because he's going to take the 1v1 into Shobi in that mid lane whilst the rest of them still wrestle around. Top lane doesn't exist. That's how impactful the role is. They literally leave it and act like a second jungler. Not a single buff, nor a jungle camp is being taken, and we really are fighting for scraps here.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Harry does level up here. I think he's 1 minion off 2. This could be the game changer for the skirmish that happens here, as they are still buying time. He doesn't get the level 2. They are walking in. Bio is going very low.
Oh, he's burnt the flash, but one Corky auto gets it done, and first blood is found there by Jovi. He gets himself out, he's dodged the vision, and he is just simply recalling the flame spitter onto Kevy, forces him away as well. And I don't believe that Iron have just, wiped the floor with them.
I think position to speak until we get to those later game team fights where the game is all about who can output the most DPS and who can live in those fights.
And obviously at that point you can be incredibly vocal, like I'm incredibly strong, I'm on a spike, I'm at a breakpoint, whatever it may be. Let's go for this fight, be it the Dragon, be it the Baron, or be it just a classic 5v5 in the lane. We're back into the game, so thank you for bearing with us. It's been a bit of a technical night where everything seems to be crashing around us, but that is the joy of an online production. So here we are, back in, 3 minutes into the game. First blood going the way of Ion as they went for that crazy double red buff little fight. And as you mentioned, maybe the proximity for Harry denying him of the level 2, which could have swung it in their favor. But let's see now how to look to try and bounce back from this one. It's almost like a case that Team Bliss need to be down to try and really go on their Sigma grind set and come back into it.
Yeah, also something to mention with the Ashe pick is the Hawk shots coming out of Ashe is one of the reasons why it's so hard to play jungle into Ashe. Like, the constant map pressure that's coming out and being able to track the enemy jungle without even seeing where they are is such a big deal. We saw Aldor shoot the Hawk shot up to the blue side of Coley, and we see that he's cancelled swap, so they know where he is. So I don't think Harry will fall down here, but if he does, that's a big mistake.
Yeah, he has fallen down, so unfortunately for them, that's the second kill going the way of Corky, and a champion that wants to scale is being spoon-fed so many resources so early on. And I mean, that's a pretty big boon to say that you've got the upper hand into a player like Harry.
Yeah, I think that Joey might feel comfortable, just skipping the Heshringer altogether now since he's so far ahead in his individual 1v1. There's not much pressure from a LeBlanc that's behind. The Nidalee is also really far behind in tempo, so it's very hard for him to find gank avenues. I feel like he can just go straight for the Triforce now, skip the Heshringer altogether and still be comfortable in this lane.
Let's see if he does decide to go for that one. If he wants to, still be fairly respectful. Spear going out as they look to try and get a little bit aggressive in this bot lane, just biding their time. Fully aware, though, is that both supports, or rather both junglers, are in the area. And Kevy more so looking to try and be a nuisance whilst the bot lane of Iron is locked underneath the tower. They don't want to sacrifice the experience or the gold. And Kevy decides he doesn't want to go for the 1v1.
Yeah, this is the one winning lane we're going to have for Bliss the entire game. Like, regardless of what's happening on the map, it's very, very hard to deal with double range AD carries as the Jhin, as the Leona. If you don't find your jungler having gank pass to be able to, go for a flank and engage on them, they're going to constantly harass you, constantly take plays, and we're going to see the CS lead go even bigger.
Maybe a CS lead to be found in the jungle as well, as Kevy really didn't want to give up those chickens. He made sure that he could drag the LeBlanc across and completely bully out Coley, who had no assistance from Jovi, very much keen to stick in lane and find an advantage with that Phage rush. Gonna go for a bit of a fight here. The spear is gonna connect, the pounce, the swipe, the damage delete. There it is! And maybe, just maybe, you're starting to second guess. Maybe I should have gone for that Hex Drinker after all.
Yeah, so they do find the chain there. Harry does a nice gank, sets up the chain, and the max range Spirit really executes so much damage, even though he is behind. They are able to steal away the chicken, so Kevy is finding a bit of some resources to get back into the game. I think he's going to be fine from this point going forward. The Collie can't really punish the matchup in a 1v1 like it is the Maokai. It's more about like stemming the bleeding from a very, very high and strong early game tempo jungler. It's all about, going even is very good for Maokai because it's much harder to play in the mid game than it is, the point and click CC.
Yeah, certainly a valid point there, as I won't be too upset by it, but we'll certainly be keeping his eyes as to where Bliss look to try and find the next advantage. You saw the hookshot once again, keeping complete tracking as to Jovi's reset back into lane, and as to where the Maokai was along his Miri jungle journey. But the mana is incredibly low here. It feels like Bliss have been trying to reset their bot lane for basically ever.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Bliss want to prioritize the dragon or go for the grubs. We do see Collie already on the grubs, so I assume they're going to go over completely. I would like to see Bliss stack these dragons and really abuse the fact that the Ion bot lane is going to be hugging their turret for pretty much the next 15 minutes of this game. I don't think we're going to see them leave unless Bliss, mess up with their wave control, mess up with their tempo. I think, the mid control coming out of Harry is still there, even though, he fell down twice once in the early game and, was forced to recall from that level 1 skirmish.
He was able to find himself a pretty sizable CS advantage despite falling on down. He's managed to make sure that the Corki isn't going to get a free pass in this game. I think it's a valid point also to touch on the top lane, right? The only tank being Biopanther. The matchup into the Rumble, obviously we know just how lane dominant the Rumble is, but is there a certain break point that the Rumble needs to hit, or is it a case of like, Ornn is just cruising, he knows he doesn't need to do anything too crazy, as long as he hits ornaments, his team is strong, they'll get buffed up further.
I mean, it's not so much like Ornn is cruising, I think Bio is cruising. He's been in this matchup like many, many times. Even though he did fall down in the early game, like he's still comfortable to just, go down a couple CS because of a bad matchup. Maybe the map is split and like he's being weak-sided, but he's just going to collect as much farm as he can, get as much experience as he can. It's very important on Ornn. We might see a lot of tanks like, oh, like I'm a tank, like I don't need farm, but Ornn is one of the most important champions to get experience on because you want to get access to those ornaments to the rest of your team and, get that extra golden stats.
Certainly all very valid points there, as the vision is not enough to deny the fact that Coley wants to force this fight. The deadly flourish missing may just be the critical moment in this one. Spear connects, Hex Flash getting zoned away, double range, really punishing that of the Leona, but instantly they turn their attention to Kevin and say, our cooldowns are back, our killer's there, there's a play back in. This time the flourish connects, and this time we're getting two. Now Aladoric, can you dodge one more? Yes, no, I think it's dead and done, and look at that stick saying, this is why I play Jhin. I've got a triple. Bio says I hate top lane. Let me just gank mid real quick.
And this is why we see the Jhin being banned away from sticks. Even though like he did pick up all those kills there, I also want to give a shout out to Coley. This is what happens when you play these triple damage threat bot lane, like with the pairing with the jungler. You're so susceptible to being engaged on. We see the flash come out of Hex Flash. I assume the replay will come up and I'll be able to dive into it a bit further. But it was just a very, very nice show of like an initial engage coming out of Hex Flash, blowing the summoners out of Aladoric and Biot, and then a re-engage coming out of Coley.
We'll see it once again, right? It's the initial cleanse out of this one. Kevy feeling inspired, yet Spear connect. Surely this is the go-to button, but then getting a little bit baited, I suppose, by the Jhin trap and then the ability for them just to re-engage. As you mentioned, a Leona and a Maokai, you can't mess around.
Yeah, that level up clutch coming out of Coley getting the kill on Kevy allowed him to get level 6, so he can throw the Twisted Advance down onto the enemy team, and it's very easy to pick up such squishy champions at that point.
I mean, if any of those Jhin shots hit from the curtain, I mean, it's just a little bit too easy then to execute them thereafter. 3-0, returning to lane with the Shredded Dirk, as well as the BF Sword. And you're thinking, sure, Caitlyn's annoying, but a Jhin this strong this early on, I think it kind of allows you to tank the annoyance of a Caitlyn Ashe.
Yeah, I want to talk about like the dynamic of bot lane now, because I feel like it's completely flipped on its head. Aladoric has access to no summoners, and if he goes anywhere near this Leona, he will explode. If Hex Flash decides to throw out the Solar Flare and it lands on Aladoric, he is dead. If he walks near an E, he is dead. Violet still has access to the flash, he can play a bit up in lane, as we see like Aladoric he's being a bit safer, always playing behind his AD carry and making sure that, the guy with flash is the one they want to aim for.
And that's one of the kind of concerns, right, of this comp, I suppose, as a whole. Not just the bot laner team list, but based on how squishy it is, if you're not being aggressive, you are just simply losing, right? So it's a growing pain of, well, what happens if Iron find themselves another kill, a repeat ganker, exploited window in which you don't have the flash? Things could go pear-shaped very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. This game can absolutely explode. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a lane swap come out, and I think that's what we are seeing here. Bliss knows that they are very susceptible right now in the 2v2, and they want to avoid this as much as possible. This also benefits Biopanther. he would rather both top laners not farming. That's going to benefit him in the long run. He just wants to get experience. He doesn't really worry too much about the gold. We'll have to see if the bot lane match does come through. I think that Ion will see the bot lane coming top here, and we'll see what Styx wants to do with his timer here.
Well, instantly pushes out the wave, then goes for a reset, or actually goes for a roam rather. Hexflash already one step ahead of him, already in the mid lane, making his way up to top side. As Shobi's the only person in the game with a completed item. All that early goals certainly helping him find a Trinity Falls at the 10-minute mark. And everybody comes together, apart from Biopan, for the sake, let's look at these grubs. Out goes the Maokai ult, look at a route in place as many members as possible. They'll find two. There's the Solar Flare, and an Equalizer on top of your head. Aladoric, that was your concern from bot lane. You're going to find the same outcome here at top. And the bot lane of Bliss ceases to exist. Kevy, so squishy, realizes, well, what else can I do? I have no engage. I have a single heal. Is that enough? No, it's not. And a blue buff Corki just gets even stronger.
Yeah, and Bio has no TP there. We see, if you looked at the map, he did position to walk towards these grubs, but he hesitated and decided to commit to bot. He knew that he wasn't going to have an impact on this fight. Just decides to get as much gold as possible. We saw Khan time. It's Azir time. Let's just run back the stuff we know. If they get to add more to their repertoire, they improve as a team, and then more teams have to worry about what they can draft. But as you can see how this game is going, it's so hard to navigate these comps when you fall behind.
So it almost felt like a conversation of we could lose early in the split to win later because we have more depth in our champion pool, our comps, and when best of threes, best of fives become a thing, we just have that extra advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I think it's way more valuable to try out stuff on stage. In the end, getting to playoffs is all that matters. If you're the better team, you're going to win regardless of what happens, and you should have confidence in yourselves to, be able to perform even though you dropped early games in the split.
I think you're probably the best voice to try and point that point out, right? Talking about the Peace run where they just clinched the playoff spot, then ending up to win the entire thing, right? So if you are simply better, you will prove it no matter who you are up against. Well, let's talk about some of the itemization. Hang on, maybe not, because Styx burns a cleanse, so maybe we can. No Magic Mantle here for Shobi. Is there still a world in which you want to build the Hex Drink a second, or do you think he's just so strong now he can fully greed?
I think he should definitely itemize towards the Hex Drink all this game. It's too much value. It's almost like a triple AP topside coming out of Bliss, and I think that's very hard to do. As the chain does land onto Jovi, I don't know if he's respecting Kevy's damage here.
Oh, the spear is there. Can Kevy get a range for the pounce? Oh, the Solar Flare just agonizingly too late. The turret's going to get the kill. The heal is simply not enough. The only upset there is it's Hex Flash that picks up the killing blow.
Yeah, the one saving, not the one, but another saving grace for Bliss right now is the fact that Jovi keeps falling over to these ganks, and I don't think he should be playing so aggressive. I think he should be more on the back foot and allowing, Harry to play for that priority. If they're committing so many numbers to mid consistently, he keeps falling over to these ganks, and I think that this extra goal in the pocket of Kevy and Harry could change this game around to Bliss.
Let's see if that is the difference maker in this one, because you are certainly looking for some of that late game wisdom to come on through and shine to success again. That's why we had to wait till last game, right? It was about 20 minutes. The game was dead even before Bliss really came into their own. And as it stands, much to your point, it is Harry right up there. Only a few gold behind that of Styx, who has those 3 kills, has the only champion bounty. Harry, I mean, his KDA looks nothing alike compared to that of the Jhin, but look, he's up there. He's going to be that beacon of hope, and yeah, no doubt you're going to be looking to try and rally around him.
Yeah, I think Harry's doing a really good job. Even from last game, this game is very similar. He is fighting from the back foot from the get-go. Like, something unfortunate happened in his lane, like level 1, level 2, and he is, forced to play from a more defensive position. But I think he's showing like how strong he is as a laner to be able to come back into the game, to be able to set up ganks, and to, stabilize bleeding, which is happening in his lane.
Out of the lane we go. A turret is now finally found, the first one of this game, going the way of the boys in pink. As we look towards the second objective, 14 minutes, only a single Drake has been acquired. Collector now being picked up by Violet as he looks to run back to the mid lane to see if that second Drake is being considered. But it's a bit of a split map at this stage, as Jovi's flanking from the other side, making sure that nothing can be done when it comes to picking up the Heralds. And mid lane control once again becomes the focus as Ion reigns supreme.
Yeah, once again, like, this team is also very good at sieging. It's very underrated, the Malco. You throw it down when you go to hit a turret. If anyone's standing up a bit too close as you're sieging, it's very easy to follow up with that poke. If you chunk people out, it's very easy to hit turrets after that. We are seeing a trade here, though. I think it's completely fine. We see the Dragon going over to Ion. I think they should prioritize, that extra bit of scaling coming out of the stats you get from the Dragon. Jovi is happy to commit his TP to the side. I don't think we're going to see the the dive coming out of Bliss, but if they are, we have the TP coming out of Doraemon with the Equalizer, and I think that we'll do a pretty good job at being a blanket for the pressure that could come out over there.
They certainly have enough CC, right, don't they, to make sure that Equalizer does find some
the Ash arrow?
staying power. There is the ult from the Caitlyn. Alodoric still holding onto his Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Out comes the Ornhorn. They make sure that really there is no way to run or hide. There's an Ash arrow to your face. And Kevy is the recipient of only their 4th kill in game 2. Doraemon TP's in. Forget the objective. I need to win top lane. Let's shred down Bio, but he doesn't get him. Bio, the only tank, lives for what feels like an eternity. Doraemon TP's into his demise. And Harry has nothing left in the tank. There is the Zenith Blade. There is the pickup. And there is just so much carnage where I feel like there's always one member from Bliss saying, I will never engage. You can have your craziness, I'll just keep split pushing.
Yeah, we see Zerbi trading a bit too aggressively on the weak side, you know, blows his Valkyrie, and that puts him very susceptible to the engage coming out of Bio. He throws down the Ornhorn. Very easy kill to pick up. We do see Violet rotating up to collapse onto Styx here. He does have access to the flash though, and Mako is still around, so this will be a 3v3. There is the TP from Bio, we might see it come through onto the ward.
If he does decide to do it, right on the money you are, as he does do it to cut off their escape avenues. They turn their attention on towards Alodoric, but Hexflash is not going to be able to find much more than just that. They actually leave Alodoric. He's going to get soloed by Leona. Would you believe it? In the end, they find enough damage onto Styx to claim his bounty, to turn things around, to deny Hexflash of the kill onto the Ashe. And Team Bliss, bit by bit, are clawing their way back in.
Yeah, these are just the little things you have to keep thinking about. Like, are we tracking TPs? Like, do they have wards behind us? Because Bliss is a very veteran-heavy team. They're going to know about these TP flanks and how to get back into games from positions where they really shouldn't be able to.
They have done the unthinkable, and what was a healthy 2k lead and some for Ion has come unstuck. It's Team Bliss back with the goal lead again, and this is Jovi in a situation like, well, how do you escape this? Everybody's CC coming right at you.
Yeah, and we also see the TP coming through from Doraemon. I think this is a very nice flash coming out of Doraemon to dodge the distortion coming out of Harry, but then a nice flash coming out of Harry to hit the chain here on the end. So he finds the kill, but, you know, Harry's no distortions, no flash, gets hit by the Maokai CC, and this is what I'm talking about. When you get locked down, you cannot move anymore, and this is how I expect most fights to go. We'll have to see if this throw that Ion has done on the top side is going to equal a bigger lead for Bliss. I think that the game state is in a much more favorable position for Bliss now. I would say it's, you know, even though they have the gold lead right now, I would say it's even because of just how the comps function, just how it's easier for Ion to navigate these team fights.
Well, let's see if they can find themselves another winning team fight, because the last few have definitely gone against them despite how strong they have been. They're going to be hoping that it works in their favor and all these TP shenanigans can calm down for the meantime, because they are all on cooldown. So mid lane once again becomes that highway to success. Level 12 then for the all, not too far away from providing ornaments to the rest of the squad, and that mid to late game truly then comes into effect. Bio going to take a 1v1 up against Jovi. Realizes, hang on a minute, I'm now surrounded by 3 members. Hold up. This is not fair. Hits him with the combo, and Jovi gets away on literally 0 HP. 20 as we toggle over to him now. Nearly the Titan tank player gets it done.
Teammate, this is a review point. I've seen way too many Caitlyn ults go through teams and hit targets they should not be hitting, as Hexflash doesn't get caught here. He doesn't have flash, so more than likely, you know, he is going to go down as he does. So, you know, bye-bye, put out of position. Unfortunate. But yeah, once again, these, you know, constantly playing aggressive even though they are behind these positions and finding wins when they really shouldn't.
You mentioned reviews before. Do you feel like this is a situation where both teams almost feel a little bit unsatisfied with the outcome? Even if it is a perfect 2-0 here for Team Bliss, I'm sure both have a lot to review and look back on and think, why was it so difficult? And then for Ion's side, why weren't we able to utilize the lead we had to actually, you know, take away a game?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, regardless of a game in League of Legends, there's always something to take away. Even if you believe you had the cleanest game of your life, there's no way you can play perfect League of Legends for, you know, the entirety of the game. There's always a mistake you can review. There's always something you can improve on, and that's what makes really good players. So even if Bliss do take away the 2-0 here, it's really important to like go back to the, you know, review as a team and talk about like, okay, why do we keep having issues in the early game? We should, on paper, be the better team in laning phase, but we keep falling behind. What do we need to fix?
It is all very valid and interesting points to discuss, but as it stands, obviously they've got to keep themselves plugged in for the meantime, because we're just about to hit that 20-minute mark. Double objective spawning with the Baron and the third Dragon not too far away. You can already see it, the 2-item spike with double AD carries with identical builds. It's a lot of damage to try and get through, and if you don't deny them, then they get to continue running you down. A rogue Ash arrow comes out, and then for sure, you're guaranteed dead.
Yeah, this is one of the strengths of the Bliss comp. Ion wants to be able to contest these objectives, but they are split on the map. You know, we see numbers showing a bot side, so like they have this long-range engage coming at the Ash Arrow, the LeBlanc double distortion, where they can just blow up people from 5 screens away, and they do decide to go for the Baron, but I do think Ion can still contest this.
There is the wall of not only the Caitlyn traps, but the Nidalee traps as well, as they look to try and cut off the engage angles that Iron can look towards. Full of a Forge God comes out, Bio jumps in, looks to try and take up as many people as possible, but a two-man Solar Flare locks in place the squishy members, the Blizz, the Baron has to be reset, Aladork has to flash away, Cole Lee far too overextended, and his backline is simply getting preyed upon. They continue, Hexflash hunting, CC weaving, but unable to find the kill that his team so sorely needs to stick around in this fight. They are losing it, Tally, and they are getting aced.
Yeah, that's just the, you know, all right, guys, we found the pick. Let's go to Baron. When they come in, let's play for the turn. Bio throws out a really nice call to Forge God. Sets up his E really nicely. We see Styx walk right into melee range, as we see in the replay here. Harry's playing for the flank, so he's always, you know, threatening the team. We see Bio set up his Q here. And then Styx, who feels like he's a bit safe because the Blank doesn't have distortion, gets knocked up into the air by Bio, which means he has to flash. And, you know, Violet finds that headshot, and he's gone. He's going forward for the rest of the team. And Violet is playing like an assassin here, and he's still living.
I mean, look at that. He's just cropping a Nidalee hill. It's just like, I don't care where I am. As long as I have uptime, we simply win. But it's almost comical to watch the replay there for Styx, because at the start he has to show so much restraint. Okay, dodge the spear, dodge that angle, protect myself from the flanking LeBlanc. Okay, I can go in. No, I'm going to die to a tank of all people that forces me to flash away with that brittle proc. And once again, speaking of Styx, he's going to dodge even more again, right? I mean, this is a brutal affair.
Yeah, there's just you know, nukes coming out of the sky. I don't think we're ever going to see the Asher really heal into Jin. Jin is a very mobile champion, especially like if you have uptime to be able to auto minions and to really abuse the move speed you get from a critical strike. I do think, you know, the Rumble is very susceptible to getting picked by the Asher into the LeBlanc combo. I just think Bliss's comp in the mid game, since they're not behind, is very easy to, you know, navigate, because they just throw out ults. If something lands, they commit. If not, they go back to farming. And they're pretty comfy in the individual 1v1s at this point. There's not too much of a threat coming out of the solo lanes from Ion, since Corki's gone for a much more defensive build. He's going to come online much later, but he will still be a threat if they do hit that point in the game.
Absolutely, and I'm sure Team Bliss are kind of like laughing to the bank the fact that, you know, early game went a little bit rough, but they've got no split side lane pushing members of Ion that they have to worry about. They can consistently entertain the idea of, we group up mid, we force fights, we wait for cooldowns, and we do it again. Aladork on CD says, here's my Ash arrow, what are you going to do? Hexflash says, I will just die. Doesn't even bother to burn the flash, no chance to hit that solar flare. They'll have to wait to cast that next game. The fight just continues and Team Bliss reigns supreme. The equalizer is fantastic, but Bliss are able just to simply sidestep it and once again turn their sights towards Baron.
Yeah, Ion just want to walk up and contest the wave because they need to get some vision on one of these objectives, and no summoners on their mobile carry. And once again, like, here comes the Ornalt, here comes the Asher. It's so easy for them to just, you know, take over the game when there's no summoners, because Harry is going to fall down here most likely.
Oh, no. In the end, he does finally burn. You thought to Leandri, surely it's done enough. And Doraemon says, I absolutely have. They'll find a tower. They'll find that as a silver lining. And they might just find another kill as well. So easy as you like it. Answer back with the Caitlyn ult with 2 items done. It hits like an absolute truck. Even more so now they have the Baron online.
I did not expect that to kill him, honestly. That is a lot of damage coming out to Caitlyn. I was like, oh yeah, Corki doesn't need to block here because it's not going to kill him. And then, yep, bye-bye. But yeah, once again, like, if we do see the replay come up, we're going to see pretty much what a really good team does when they set up around objectives. You know, they come from multiple angles. They abuse summoners. We see Fire pretty much solo Styx out of the fight here as the rest of the team is killing Hexflash. You got hit by the arrow, and then, like, it's so easy for these mobile champions to just run out of the fight. We see a really nice equalizer coming out of Doraemon, but it doesn't really matter because the entire team of Bliss can just, you know, walk away.
They can. It's almost become a little bit too easy for them, right? The fact that they can just continue to group up with the rest of their team and say, yeah, I'm loving this. This is pretty chill. There's nothing needing to be too concerned about because they keep entertaining us with these 4 5v5s. And, like, I mean, once again, it's a case of if the TPs aren't there, what more can they do? This Ashol is being used off CD for good reason as well. Knocked up against the wall. Hexflash has nowhere to go. The second time in a row, cease it into oblivion that none of his kit can be utilized.
It's really unfortunate to be Hexflash this game. He needs to walk in to get wars, and constantly he's just getting an Ash arrow to the back of the head. And the rest of his team can't do anything. They can't stay there and be like, all right, we'll save you. Because they don't want to be around when the Ornalt comes down. They don't want to be around when, like, the LeBlanc are playing. They're out of position already. It's more important that their carries are able to keep farming. And maybe if something works out their way and they're able to stabilize this game, get back into a position where they're able to keep scaling.
Let's see if scaling becomes their best friend of what will be their inevitable demise, because they're about to be 5,000 gold down. Nature's Grass comes out here to try and lock in place as many people as possible. Cole Lee realizes that I am very squishy. TPs, I mean, Robert flashes back into the lane and uses his teammates as a bit of Kevlar to block that skill shot. But look, they've drawn their line in the sand. The equalizer has been burnt. And I think now their ability to try and prevent this wave from crashing is definitely gone.
Yeah, I think this is going to be easy sieging now for Bliss. All the resources came out of Ion. They don't have any more tools to engage. Besides the solar flare, they do want to throw that. But Violet has the, has the cleanse. Harry has the distortion. It's very hard to lock down the major targets they need to get on right now.
Byron being an absolute weapon there, tanking up the world and more, allowing the rest of the squishy members behind him just to keep doing damage to that turret. The base has now been broken, and the ability for them to look at taking an inhibitor would certainly be there for them to go for, as Harry's forced to flash out. Ooh, distortion. I mean, there you go. It's not enough, unfortunately for him. The arrow goes completely wide. Violet finds another kill. Oh, nearly gets sticks on the tail end there, but with another wave crashing. But with members having been lost, I think Team Bliss had to lick their wounds and say that was a job well done. But Doraemon wants to get his brother, and he does that so flashing with the flamethrower active. And it's still not done, Tally. Jovi wants more. He feels a little bit tank with that more Memorius. And with the double blue trinket being propped, they have the vision. They're hoping that the blast cone doesn't get them out to safety. But that it certainly does.
Yeah, a little concentration prize for Ion on the exit there. A lot of Bliss members go down. A lot of gold going on to Styx. He does have the damage. It's going to be very scary for Harry to start distortioning in, because if he does cop one of those orders to the head, it's going to do a lot of damage to him. He's a very squishy champion. He is able to blow up anyone on the map, but he's also able to be blown up by a lot of these champions. Corki still hasn't found access to the, the major items he needs to be able to take over this game, like in the double crit items from the IE and another heal item. I think that the rest of the Ion roster is pretty much online when it comes to, having the right items now, but we're seeing those ornaments come through. We see the Leander's completed. I think it's the Molten Edge for the Infinity Edge upgrade on the Orn item. Couldn't remember what the Leander's one is, but, we're seeing them starting to come through, so it just, extra gold coming through thanks to, the ornaments coming out of Orn.
And we always sort of quantify that as like maybe 1,000, 1,500, sometimes even 2,000 gold worth of value being just freely picked up as a result of that one, right? So being up by 5k, as the game says, is a lot of damage with that upgrade, meaning that Styx should feel safe, but really, really needs somebody to body block that one.
Yeah, this Caitlyn ult really hurts, and I don't know why. I don't remember them buffing in a very long time, but it seems to do a lot more damage than the Caitlyn's that I play with in solo queue. Maybe Violet's just a bit better at the champion, but we do see Eldork has access to the Enchanted Crystal Hour right now, and he hasn't had that one off cooldown for a very long time. He keeps storing that as soon as possible, so we have to see if he does want to throw it out onto Styx, onto Doraemon, maybe try to get a summoner since his team isn't around to follow up right now.
Yeah, really look to try and see if they can force anything out of their opposition to make it easier to siege yet another lane as Ion get corralled into another position in which they don't really want to face, right? They don't have any other lanes that they've been able to push or pressure to play around. Jovi obviously attending the bot lane based on the supers crashing, but is eventually going to be called back to prevent this second base part being broken apart now as the wave of Caitlyn traps get planted on down. It's going to be Team Bliss sitting their lines and saying this is where we want to try and make our final stand. Violet is the one that falls on down initially, burns the cleanse, but it wasn't enough. There is the chains, there is the ability for Harry to try and get out of that curtain call, but Biopepper next on the menu. Zenith Blade connects the Bellow's Breath to make him unstoppable. He isn't going to be CC just yet, but it's not going to stop him from falling on down. Coley gets it, and now they need to rely on both the saplings and the blue trinkets to pursue these kills even further, but I think they've just run out of juice. Jovi agonizingly close to falling on down. And with the Baron being up in about 20 seconds, this is a close affair for both teams.
Yeah, I think Violet just got tagged up there by the bouncing grenade, which meant the Deadly Flourish lands, and Hex Flash, as soon as he sees that little window to engage, pulls the trigger. Really nice job by him to, abuse Violet not having summoners right now. They finally find a window to, get some advantage back on the map. I want to see if they're able to, push out these waves, get some control. If they do want to contest this Baron, as we do go into the replay, I want to see what it was that tagged up Violet. I think it was the bouncing grenade, yeah, as we see here, into the Deadly Flourish, which means, he has to blow cleanse instantly, but he has no flash. And once the Leo's on top of you like this, it's so hard to navigate these fights. And the DPS coming out of Ion right now is insane.
It is certainly insane. They are feeling very much inspired by the damage that they have when given a chance to utilize it, and I certainly think we are hopefully working towards another Baron attempt. There we go, indeed. So Bliss, having started up already, wondering what the deploy is from Ion. Doraemon's equalizer about 5 seconds away, but on this occasion, 5 seconds too late. Ace in the hole to start things off. Shobi already down to 60%. And Harry looking to try and lock in sight yet another target with those chains. And the equalizer being dropped there. Same with the Solar Flare, hitting literally nothing. Bio soaks it up, says, that's all right. I've got a Nidalee that pocket heals me from behind. I think Iron have chucked everything out, but are going to be a bit upset they hit nothing.
Arrow does land on the Collie here. Let's see if they're going to follow up. I think it's very hard. The call the full shot's almost off cooldown there, so watch by Panther.
Here it is, off cooldown, instantly used as a result, hits one target, and that's all they need. They've opened up the base now because they've removed one of those crucial base defending members in the Maokai. Question becomes, what do you want? Do you break open through mid, or do you run straight through bot, look to try and wrap this one up after down for 35 seconds? The spear, the Caitlyn damage, it's all just ramped up to an oblivion point where it's just too much to bear. One turret falls on down, working their way towards the second, but Bio's about to die. Jovi's done just that, the Crypt Bloom effect coming online. And now they start to wonder, well, can we still siege? We have no front line.
I think they are able to still siege, but they shouldn't play for the game end anymore. With Bio going down, it's very hard to end. They need a miracle to happen there. Arrow is up from Aladoric though, so they might look one last time.
Might have to wait and see what they can find with this one, because the Solar Flare locks on place. Kevy, the Asher returns it around. There's no backup for the Leona that was running on. He's burning on down, but the self-heal proves to be enough, and Sticks with the Curtain Call was unable to find much more than just that. It's a quadra kill. Make it the Penta as they get an ace to close out week 2 in classic Violet fashion.
And that's a player who knows his limits. He flashes forward as soon as he finds that one kill, and he's just absolutely one-shotting everyone and take them out of the game. We were talking about how long we were going to have to wait until we're going to see Violet, you know, the pentakill extraordinaire, find his first penta. But it's only in the second week and he's already got his first penta.
Leans back, stretches, he's got the jacket on, he's feeling warm, he's feeling inspired. He gets himself a pentakill. Not only is that sweet in isolation, but to do it against your brother where you can run downstairs and rub it in his face thereafter and say, you know, stick to your team, buddy. I'll be still the king of this household.